So for the past many years, I've been thinking a lot about what it means to be a man instead of being just a guy or a boy. And a lot of confusion has come with this question, and it kind of made me wonder. I'm 35 years old, and I've kind of seen a lot of things that make me question whether or not a guy is a guy or a guy is a man, or is still considered a boy or something like that. So I kind of made a list, and it's a list of 8 things that any guy should stop doing after they turned 30. So there's a time in every guy's life where he decides to, at some point, to get a piercing or something. Whether it's to impress a girl, or to piss off his parents, or to feel unique in some way. So I would say that time is over, and I think it's time to let adulthood start knocking on your door. So not all piercings are bad. I mean, some piercings, they tell stories about who you are as a person, even as an adult. I can give an example like stretches. And stretches are what we know here in the ears. They're also called flesh tubes or tunnels, depending on what you put in. And it's where you expand the hole in your ear and make it bigger. And you've seen a whole lot of people do this probably, and you've probably been shaking your head if you don't already do it yourself. It's a kind of niche thing. And a lot of guys, they stretch their ears to the amount where you actually need surgery to fix it, to make it whole again. Other times it's just a small stretch, which is kind of puts an identity on you, kind of says who you are as a person, if you're a bit edgy or something. So I myself actually did have stretches, and I did take them out. I kind of felt it was my time to take them out. They didn't really suit who I was becoming as a man, and so I took them out. Now I do have little holes here now that don't exactly grow together. I only had like 12 millimeters, so it wasn't that much, 1.2 centimeters. It wasn't a big holes, but they grew back kind of okay, I would say. But piercings like lip piercings, or labrets, or whatever you call them in your country, eyebrow piercings, nipple piercings, tongue piercings, and things like that, they should be gone once you turn around about 30. I would say it's time to get rid of them. You can't expect to be respected as an adult if you're constantly trying to look like you're 16 years old. So remember back when you started to have a little bit of money in your pocket, either it was for lunch money at school, or it was from an allowance you got from your parents from doing some chores at home. Well, you needed a place to keep that money, and to be honest, your pockets weren't exactly the most effective place. There would be more money lost than there would be in your pocket once the day was over. And that was cue to buy your first wallet. Most kids get a sturdy nylon wallet with a cool motive on it that opened with a really loud Velcro scratch. It was cool, but really, you should never have, and I repeat, you should never have a Velcro wallet if you're a grown-ass man. The amount of blind ignorance has to be mind-boggling for you to still have a Velcro wallet in your EDC. Don't think it's retro or something like that. I mean, you need to wake up. Go get yourself a nice leather wallet or card holder that kind of fits your grown-up personality. Oh, and skip the logos. There is nothing cool about having a Budweiser or Jägermeister or something like that logo on your wallet. It's ridiculous. So the next one surprised me. I mean, a lot of men are still using these, and the lack of self-worth is actually kind of scary. The days of spiked hair and a face full of zits, it's over. You should respect that you are a grown-ass man and stop using spray deodorants like Axe or David Beckham. Now, I'm not saying they're bad, but really, they're bad. Go out and buy a really good antiperspirant for your underarms, and then go out and spend some time to find which kind of perfume fits you best. And yeah, I mean it, perfume, or an eau de toilette, or an eau de parfum, or whatever you want to call it. It's French. I don't speak French at all. But I mean, finding the right thing and paying what it costs, it's gonna keep you a lot happier in the long run. So I've seen a lot of guys walk around with these crop pants. If you don't know what crop pants are, they're usually pants that are rolled up at the bottom of the leg, or they're actually made and designed to be too short, like Michael Jackson pants. So I don't really have much to say about this, but I mean, I can't really fathom how they got popular in the first place. But I would say it has to stop. I mean, if you're a man in your 30s and up, you really shouldn't be wearing crop pants. They shouldn't be found in your wardrobe at all. So this kind of brings me to the next point, which is the importance of fashion. Fashion is important if you're a young guy and you're trying to fit in and you're seeking popularity and so forth. But when you become a certain age, fashion shouldn't be as high as a priority as it is when you're 18 to 25, let's say. By the time you're around 30 years of age and up, you should kind of have a really good idea of what kind of person you are, and you should have a pretty good idea of what kind of style you want. And that's the priority that you need, that's style. You should always try to look best the majority of your daily life. So find a style that fits you and exceed at it. Do you? So the next one should be a no-brainer. Unfortunately, it's not. You should never let yourself be boring, but you should be over the stage where drugs should have any meaning at all. Doing lines with your mate, it's not cool, and spiking up a joint, I mean, in the weekends, it's useless. You're not contributing to anything at all. And you may think or say that, oh, it's because it reduces stress or it helps me stay level. There are a lot of ways to achieve that without using drugs. Drugs are for young boys. Just don't do it. They're not for men. Say no. The same goes for the next thing. I know it's hard to grow up and be serious and shit, and it's not nearly as fun as you'd think it would be. But if you spend your weekends in a bar, getting shit-faced or hitting on women, well, that's not a good priority as a man. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going out and having some fun. Nothing at all. But let's keep it to around about 1 weekend a month. I actually only go out like once every 2 months. I spend some time with some friends and have some fun. Maybe once a month we have guests over, or we go somewhere and play a couple of board games and drink a couple of bottles of wine. But I mean, going out and partying, going crazy like some young guy, I don't do that anymore. Instead, I think it would be more important and more prudent for you to spend some more time with your family and friends. I mean, feed the relationships in your life. Start a new hobby. Stay in and work on yourself. Maybe begin on that idea that you've had in your head for a couple of years now. It's not too late to start that. It's not too late to stay home and figure out the next part of your life. And of course, last but not least, when you go out and you let yourself go a little bit, don't do it with some sweet girly little drink. No man should be seen in public with a daiquiri. Yeah, I know they're tasty, they taste real good, but that's not happening in a bar. Not at all. That's just not right. You are, at the age of 30 and up, and probably before that as well, old enough to start drinking proper alcohol. Grown-up drinks, if you want to call them that. Maybe order a whiskey. I mean, if you're unsure on which whiskey you should start up with, you can always ask your bartender. That is exactly why they're there. I remember one of the times when I was looking for a new whiskey. I thought that Chivas, Regal, and Glenfiddich were some of the best whiskeys out there. And don't get me wrong, they're quite fine whiskeys. I don't mind them at all. But I went to a bar one day and I was like, okay, I want to try something new. And I asked the bartender, I need something smooth. So he got me something called an Oban. An Oban is a 17-year-old, really, really nice whiskey that is just perfect. Wonderful whiskey. Smooth, lays right on the tongue, the perfect way. The palate it's perfect. It's not the only perfect whiskey, but it really is one of the better ones for a really nice price. And if you're not into whiskeys, I mean, of course, but there's rum. You can always order a rum, and I am not talking about Captain Morgan. Captain Morgan is not a rum. They are allowed to call it a rum, but it's not a rum. I don't care what they say. And I'm not talking about a rum and coke either. I mean, you can buy a rum and coke. It wouldn't be a big deal, but I mean, if you really want a manly drink, rum and coke isn't exactly it. You go for the hard liquors, right? So you take a straight whiskey. You take a straight rum. You can always buy a gin and tonic. That would be a perfect drink. Well, a lot of people in my age and up love their gin and tonics. Personally, not my drink, but I do understand the hype. And if you're not for these fancy hard liquors and you don't want something like that, they don't fit well with you, you always have the option of just buying a beer. Now, beer is a safe bet. Of course, too many beers kind of makes you really nasty, but still. Try an IPA maybe, which is an Indian pale ale. It's a type of brew that's actually quite wonderful. Maybe some dirty, unfiltered beer would be really, really nice. I know that there are some unfiltered ales that are really, really, really good. So try and find something special that will fit your palate. Just not something sweet. just to mask the taste of alcohol. You're not 15 years old anymore. You don't need to mask the taste of alcohol. You need to embrace what it tastes like, and you need to embrace the quality in which it comes in. So that is the 8 things I think you should stop doing after you turn 30. And I hope you really liked the video. If you didn't, I don't care. This is things that I think are important, and I'm just sending it out to you so you guys have an idea of what you should go after if you don't already know. So please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button. I would love for you guys to join in on the comments if you have something you wanted to bring to the table. I do not condone negative comments, but if you want to come at me with them, then fine, I'll read them. I mean, I won't care, but I'll read them. So anyway, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, please hit the bell as well. I missed that one before. Please hit the bell. You get a notification every single time I upload a new video, which I am trying intensely hard to try and do a bit more often than I usually do. I'm trying to keep you guys entertained as much as I can. Recommend me to a friend if you think so. If you don't, then recommend me to a friend and tell them to look at this asshole. That would be really, really great. Anyway, that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.